I think that if President Biden can just stay in his own rhythm of ignoring whatever Trump comes in with, whether he try to be more temperate or whether he tries to go in this whole robust kind of attack mode, he should be what he is, presidential, because that's how he behaves.
Yes, one of the great voices of wisdom of our era, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Was Tawana Brawley there with him? Was he in Crown Heights attacking the Jews? He's kind of the OG, isn't he? He's like the original gangster of attacking the Jews. Al Sharpton and his Crown Heights riots. How many people were killed in the Al Sharpton instigated Crown Heights riots? Democrats, they're not liberals, they're the left. People get killed when the left shows up. Speaking of Jamal Bowman, Mama Jamma that he is, he's a bad Mama Jamma, isn't he? There's a primary election in New York today, and fire alarm Bowman, or five alarm Bowman, or, yank it right here, Bowman. Just amazing. He's out there in the Bronx over the weekend. I played the audio for you yesterday, calling people words that I can't use here, but kind of like Mama Jamma. I think the cleaned up dinner table version of the word that he was using is Mama Jamma, isn't it? I'm a bad Mama Jamma, and we got that going. And his opponent is a guy named Latimer, and he's white. He's white. His opponent, he's being primaried by another Democrat. This one from Westchester County, allegedly. And he's a white guy, so naturally Jamal Bowman has somebody following him around calling him a racist, because that's what the party of lynching people likes to call people. Pretty amazing. The Democrat Party is still as racist as they ever were. Honestly, go back to 1861 and then look at 2024. Pretty much the same thing. So we got a bit of Jamal Bowman update for you, and the racist anti-Semite that he is. He's planning on winning. Hillary Clinton endorsed the white guy. You see this? Hillary Clinton came out and endorsed the white guy. Bernie the Bolshevik Sanders is endorsing Jamal Bowman, who is a virulent anti-Semite. And Bernie Sanders is Jewish, of course, but he prefers the anti-Semitic black wing of the Democrat Party because he thinks that makes him a 1917 hipster or something like that. You know, Bernie Sanders was there for that Potemkin moment and for the, honestly, for the Bolshevik Revolution. He did honeymoon in the Soviet Union with his bride who bankrupted that college in Vermont. First time ever, but never mind that. So we got a lot, and I got more Reverend Al Sharpton for you too. He's got some advice for Joe Biden on whether he should be doing coke for the presidential debate. Good idea or bad idea for Joe Biden to be doing coke? He could just talk to his son Hunter, or go down to that locker room in the White House, maybe find another bag of coke down there. But the Reverend Al, he's got advice on doing coke for the debate. And I don't want to spoil the surprise because we got that. And he was on Morning Joke this morning talking about Joe Biden doing coke for the debate, the upcoming debate. The Democrat Party is mentally ill. We should fence off a big state that nobody wants and make all the Democrats move there. They're really unwell, very, very unwell. Speaking of unwell Democrats, Sean Penn, remember him? He was Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was his best role ever, and it always will be. He'll never be able to outdo Jeff Spicoli. Sean Penn shows off Hunter Biden painting on prominent display in his home. Quote, very insightful guy, end quote. Very insightful guy. Sure. Do another bump. Just amazing stuff. What a party the Democrat Party is. And what Obama is whispering to Biden. See, Obama is the Biden whisperer. He's the Biden whisperer, and he pulls aside Joe Biden, and he whispers to Joe Biden, and they're very upset. Democrats are very upset. They're getting their panties in a wedge, once again, as they so often do. about Joe Biden and about Barack Obama. And oh no, is Barack Obama not going to be able to fulfill his dream of destroying America and getting women murdered all over the place? Because if Joe Biden loses in November, then the Democrats are very worried that Obama will not get to wreck the place more than he already has. Because it's really Obama behind the sock puppet. The hand up the rectum of the Joe Biden sock puppet is Barack Obama's hand. And what Obama is whispering to Biden, the intelligencer, that's what they call themselves, the intelligencer. Remarkable stuff. And yesterday I also played for you audio from the CNN, from the cable news network. And it was kind of remarkable. They had a Trump campaign spokeswoman on who is lovely and wonderful and intelligent. And she was talking to a Democrat, fake journalist on CNN, Casey Hunt. And I gotta say that carefully. They really do, because the variety of things. But Caroline Leavitt of the Trump campaign was on. And Casey Hunt just talked over and shouted her down and said, no, you can't say anything about Jake Tapper being a Democrat and being a crooked journalist and Dana Bash. So Casey Hunt cut her off and shut her down. Well, Caroline Leavitt went out and she actually did a number of interviews yesterday after the CNN episode, The Incident. And CNN, and honestly, Casey Hunt did CNN no favors yesterday. What she did was she pulled back the tarp that they're all lying under in the hot tub. And no, you can't say that. No, we don't allow the truth to be told on CNN, especially about us. We just spend our lives morning, noon, and night vilifying everyone, demonizing everyone, and allegedly being truth tellers. But you go on CNN to tell the truth, and they'll shut you down, shout you down, talk over you, and push you off the set. It was a remarkable moment. But Caroline Leavitt then went on to explain what was revealed. And I've got to say, what was revealed, I think, should be apparent. And that is that CNN is not a news organization at all. It's just an extension of the Democrat Party, an engorged and kind of filthy extension of the Democrat Party. And Casey Hunt is not a journalist, and, don't be ridiculous. And, of course, Jake Tapper, former Democrat Hill staffer, Monica Lewinsky dater, Dana Bash, ex-husband, Obama administration official, one of the signatories, the Felonious 51, the big lie letter about Hunter Biden's laptop being Russian disinformation or having all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. Lies, lies, all lies, I say. Remarkable stuff. So we've got some updates for you on that. Very good, very good. And there is, I mentioned, a primary election for the Democrats and for Jamal Hates Jews Bowman. Do you think Jamal Bowman thinks that the Jews control the weather? Like Trayon White on the D.C. City Council thinks that the Jews control the weather. These people they're mentally ill people. They're mentally disturbed. They're ignorant. They're unintelligent. They're not just ill-informed. They're misinformed. It's just amazing. It's like the old Mark Twain thing. If you don't read the newspapers, you're uninformed. If you do read the newspapers, you're misinformed. So this has been going on for some time, since Mark Twain said that quite some time ago. Remarkable things we've got going on. But the Jamal Bowman squad member faces ouster from Congress in New York. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And that's why Jamal Bowman, who hates the Jews, it's, that Catholics hate the Protestants and the Protestants hate the Catholics and the Muslims hate the Hindus and everybody hates the Jews. At least in the Democrat Party, that's the case. Even their Jews hate the Jews. Even Bernie Sanders, who is a Bolshevik, a communist, an anti-American swine, even he hates the Jews, and he's, theoretically very Jewish himself. Kind of an amazing story he is, and kind of an amazing story, America and Democrat Party politics. What an extraordinary thing. So, yeah, Jamal Bowman, progressive representative Jamal Mama Jamma, hate the Jews Bowman, fights for his political life in primary that spotlights Democrat deep discord over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. Well, that's part of what it highlights. I guess you could say that. But that's the Fox News headline, remarkable things all over the place, I am telling you. Also, the Soros-backed state's attorney in Chicago, Illinois. Kim Foxx's office finally finds a crime they're willing to pursue. This is kind of an amazing story. What is the crime that she's willing to pursue, Kim Foxx in Chicago? Well, it's remarkable, but it was allegedly perpetrated against her. And now, amazing things. Felonies, multiple felonies for someone that allegedly committed a crime against her, against Kim Foxx herself. Now, you see, the full force of the law must be brought to bear because of that. But she's the Juicy Smollett prosecutor, of course, she's a racist and a liar and a crook, and a Soros person. So all that implies, and maybe some more too. Remarkable stuff. And the Democrats at the White House, they hate the Jews too. Boy, do they! And they got that transgender, cross-dressing, freakazoid, sexual deviant lunatic who I assume is off stealing women's luggage at airports today or something, so he can dress up in other women's clothes. Remarkable stuff. But they hired as their new communications guy, and he's going to fit in. I don't know if they call him her or she or what their pronouns are, anything like that. But that person is now in the communications office at the White House. And the headline today: no one knows what he's going to say. White House fears. Their fears mount about Bibi's D.C. visit. That's Benjamin Netanyahu. They like to call him Bibi. And Bibi Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, coming to Washington. And Democrats, I got to tell you, they better double Netanyahu's security detail because the Democrats are a threat to him, a grave danger to the Israeli prime minister, presented by the Democrat Party. And you want a joint session, a speech to a joint session of Congress, the Democrats might attack him at the podium like it's the Civil War all over again because they hate the Jews so much. And if you're Jewish and you're voting for Democrats, call in and explain what's wrong with your brain. What's your mental? Is it the drugs? Is it severe blow to the head? Were your parents abusive? What happened to you? Just amazing stuff. And the New York Times got a big story today. Supply chain. They should call Pete Buttigieg. Got a supply chain issue? Wait. Supply chain under strain as Houthis intensify Red Sea strikes. Boy, if only the United States government had any role in anything in the world today. Oh, yeah, we do. We're funding the Houthis, and we're funding Hamas, and we're funding Hezbollah in Lebanon because we're funding Iran in Tehran, and they're funding the Houthis in Yemen, and they are funding Hamas in the Gaza, and they are funding and arming and sending missiles to Hezbollah in Lebanon. That's your Democrat Party. They're not on the side of civilization because they're the left. They're not on our side. That's very, very generous. And they've got leftists in France, too. Hilarious story that the U.S. Olympic team, they're bringing their own air conditioners to the Olympics in France because the French have said in order to save the planet and make the weather better, that none of the Olympic athletes can have air conditioning. So sleep in 80-something degree heat and sweat and, drink water in the middle of the night and wake up and then compete in the Olympics. Good idea. What century is it? Once again, they're leaving centuries behind, not just one. Amazing stuff. And so the U.S. and a bunch of other countries are bringing their own air conditioning because the French may be happy smelling like Pepe Le Pew, but Olympic athletes from all over the world, not so much. Remarkable stuff. And now it gets better because Parisians, when they say Parisian CBS News, they mean Parisian leftists. Parisian leftists threaten to poop in the Seine River that runs through Paris to protest sewage contamination ahead of Paris 2024 Summer Olympics. Well, no air conditioning, smelly, sweaty French people, Pepe Le Pew, and then all the leftists are going to come out and poop in the Seine River because they're French, just hang their French butts over the rails of bridges up and down the Seine River. It's a very beautiful city. Probably be nicer without French people. Remarkable stuff. Olympic poop protests. Remarkable stuff. because you see they were planning a swim in the Seine River, So the leftists said, oh, you want to swim in the Seine River? We're all going to come out and we're going to do that into it because, Democrats. Adam Carolla, the comedian, he used to work with that Jimmy Kimmel guy, didn't he? Like Girls on Trampolines. And he's leaving California. That's it's like the opposite of the Led Zeppelin song, Going to California. He's leaving California, and where's he going? Adam Carolla. We are at 888-630-9625. We got the big debate this week. Now it's really the day after tomorrow. If Joe Biden is still living and he shows up, there is a Great Babylon Bee headline today. Trump preps for debate against Biden by going to nursing home and arguing with dementia patients. That's real world prep right there. Nursing home, dementia patients, prepping for debate with Joe Biden. Let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Lee, calling from Leesburg, which I think is just a coincidence. Lee, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Just a coincidence, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Chris, judging from what happened on CNN, a day ago with that wonderful spokesman from the Trump campaign, the rules for this debate have been set up that when Biden talks, Trump can't, his mic shut off, and I don't know if it's even vice versa or not. But to me, the biggest concern is Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. Are they going to have their fat mouths shut off when Trump is talking? Because I see the same thing is going to happen to Trump. So if Joe can't defend, filibuster him, Trump that is, that they'll do the job for him.
That is an excellent point, a really great point. And I haven't heard anybody make that point, Lee. That's how since it's 3-on-1, it's Jake Tapper and Dana Bash and Joe Biden against Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump against Joe Biden, Jake Tapper, and Dana Bash. And they say, well, when Biden's talking, we're going to cut Trump's mic off, cut his microphone off, and vice versa, in theory. When Trump is talking, they're going to cut Biden's mic off. But you're right, the mics that most need to be cut will, in all probability, be the mics in front of Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, because they'll be interrupting Trump, and they are there to goad him, to trap him, to try to get him to say something that will be the soundbite of the night for the left, But yeah, let's cut their mics off when Trump's talking. Yes, the front page of the Washington Times today, your newspaper of record in Washington, D.C. We also have the Washington Examiner and the Washington Free Beacon. We are very fortunate to have such great newspapers. And then I have it right here also, the Washington Post. Hang on. Pooey! I just spat on that. Both the Washington Post and the Washington Times have color photos on the front page above the fold of the not-so-good ship Dolly, headed out of the Baltimore Harbor and going under the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. They stopped traffic on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and they had two big tugboats directing the Dolly, the D-A-L-I, Dolly, like Salvador Dali, not like Dolly Parton, D-O-L-L-Y. It's the Dolly, and it left Baltimore yesterday, and Baltimore couldn't be happier. And it didn't crash into and knock down the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is good, and we'll score that as progress. And it's kind of amusing, but they had big tugboats pushing it around to make sure that it didn't crash into the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, because we kind of like that bridge around here and didn't want that one to collapse too. The Dolly headed out. But the real lead story in the Washington Times today, pre-debate hostilities heat up for Trump. CNN host refuses to hear campaign's acknowledgement of moderator biases. And I love the fact that they use the word acknowledgement rather than allegations or something, because it's a simple acknowledgement of the facts that you've got a biased and corrupt pair of anchor. You got anchor man, anchor woman. They can change that up anytime they like. Former President Donald Trump will be stepping into a left-wing minefield on Thursday when he debates President Biden on CNN, whose moderators have compared him to Adolf Hitler. Naturally, who else were they comparing to? And in the meantime, the Democrats are out attacking Jews all over the country and calling for Israel to be wiped off the map. No problem there, no absurdity, no double standards, no irony. In May, Mr. Trump immediately accepted CNN's invitation to debate Mr. Biden. I remember kind of shaking my head out loud at that, and I was like, I think maybe we should have the Heritage Foundation host it. What do you think about that? Have one person from the Heritage Foundation and maybe one from the radical left-wing extremist Brookings Foundation, a left-wing think tank, where they had that Russian commie who was involved in the Trump sabotage. So that would make it, the whole Russian collusion thing. It was all fake. And the Brookings Institution helped. They had a guy, a Russian, who's a Putin guy. That helped because the Democrats are in bed with Putin, and the sheets are going up and down. Just saying. So he did immediately accept, and the president took to social media and directly challenged his rival to participate. Since then, Trump supporters have lamented what they call unfavorable terms of the debate. And they are unfavorable terms of the debate. The candidates will have no live audience and no chance to interrupt each other. No chance to interrupt each other. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash have been chosen as the moderators. Now, that's the word that should be in quotation marks. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, there's been some talk about Joe Biden, who's holed up at Camp David. He's up at Camp David, hiding away, and they've got an airplane hangar and a movie theater that they've set up with Klieg lights, or as the Reverend Al Sharpton says, Clegg lights, because he can't pronounce anything. He's an incredibly ignorant person. And he's a racist, and he's an anti-Semite and an anti-American, and therefore he's in good with the Democrats, and they love racists and anti-Semites. And he's a news anchor on NBC's MSNBC network, where they pay him 7 figures because he's a shakedown artist, and you know how that goes. But it's remarkable stuff. There's been some talk, well, Joe Biden, he's up at Camp David. What are they doing? They're training. They've got a team of 16 people that they've brought in, the Democrats have, to Camp David that are working hard to train Joe Biden. And they're very, very nervous. They're very, very, very. The Intelligencer, which is allegedly a publication of some kind. What Obama is whispering to Biden, : they do love their colons. The president's plan to save their legacy from Trump. That's the headline in the Intelligencer. Obama's going to save his legacy by saving Biden, because the open borders and the fundamental transformation of America, and rapes and murders and illegal alien gang members and drug trafficking and more than 100,000 fatal drug overdoses in a single year, greater than the number of Americans killed in the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and the post-9/11 wars combined in a single year. No problem. That's Obama's legacy. Let's make it Obama's legacy, because it is Obama's legacy, and now they're accidentally saying it out loud. But they've brought in all these radicals like Anita Dunn, whose favorite political philosopher is Chairman Mao Zedong, who murdered more people than any other person in human history. And all, honestly, Genghis Khan didn't murder as many people. It's amazing. But never mind that. They got Ron Klain and Mike O'Donnell and Jeff Zients, and they got 16 people that they brought in. Jake Sullivan, that's a lot of good. That anemic worm of a man. He's a worm. Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, who intimidates absolutely no one, not even his cat. His cat chases him around the house. It's a remarkable thing. They got Cedric Richmond. They've got, it looks like America. They've got terrorists and anti-Semites and looters. They've got, it's a collection of 16 Democrats. But they had the Reverend Al Sharpton on Morning Joke this morning, Morning Joke. And one of the things that has been talked about is Joe Biden. I keep saying they're going to put him on there's this pill, whatever it is, Prevagen, supposed to be good for your brain. And, I don't know, maybe it is. That's how they sell it and why they sell it, and people seem to like it. So it's supposed to perk your brain up. And, when Joe Biden showed up for the State of the Union, it's like he was jacked up on speed. It's like he was on cocaine. He was angry and maybe a little PCP mixed in. Maybe he was doing speedballs, like a little heroin and cocaine mix that he got from Hunter. But he was all jacked up and he's growling and pounding the podium. And he looked furious, like, ooh, look at Joe. And one of the headlines today is, which Joe Biden will show up? Which Joe Biden will show up? Will it be the Joe Biden that we know that falls down and bumps into things and walks around with his mouth hanging open and his arms not swinging like a normal person and wanders off at the G7 in Italy? Or is it going to be angry, screaming, spitting mad Joe Biden from the State of the Union? Well, the Reverend Al Sharpton has some thoughts because for he got it in his head that people are recommending that Joe Biden get jacked up on cocaine and come out for the debate jacked up on coke and maybe, pulling little bumps off of his hand in the middle of when Trump's talking. He's going to pull out a bullet and do be doing coke while he's there. So the Reverend Al Sharpton, with his advice to Joe Biden, unsolicited and free, but it's certainly welcome. They got that transgender communications guy, too. He'll dress like a lady and tell Joe Biden what to do. So here is the Reverend Al this morning.
But let me say this, the absurdity of this whole thing of whether he is on a drug or whether he was given drugs. I think Joe and I may be the only ones in the building that ever really were in debates. I ran for president. Yeah. Joe was elected.
Yeah. He ran for president.
The last thing someone needs in a debate is a drug, because you may get hyped up. Yeah. You may forget something. Somebody can easily provoke you. It shows how inexperienced they are to even be talking about drugs.
Yeah, it shows how. But let's go to the crackhead reverend from the Crown Heights attack the Jews riots, and Tawana Brawley blame the cops on a fictional made-up. What a fatuous liar, psychotic liar this man is. But it shows how little they know about drugs, and he speaks so well, doesn't he? And he should be everyone's model going forward if we're going to, enter the dark ages that we're headed toward now. We're going to be without electricity 100 years from now, and the world will be barren and scorched because of the direction that we're headed now, thanks to people like Al Sharpton. And it shows how inexperienced they are, he says, saying that he should now, but people aren't really talking about him being jacked up on cocaine. Maybe in your social circles, Reverend Al, where is Tawana Brawley? Do you keep in touch with her? Remarkable stuff, the Reverend Al Sharpton this morning.
I have friends in the entertainment world. Managers used to worry if they took cocaine, they'll forget the lines. If they really wanted to defeat Biden, they would want him on drugs because he'd forget what he's done for unemployment numbers and what he's done around the economic stability because he's pumped up. So they really don't know what they're talking about. They're scared to death.
To say that he's mentally impaired would be insulting to your average room full of mentally impaired people. He has managers in the entertainment business. They say that if their clients do cocaine and then go out on stage, they forget the lyrics. And Joe Biden might forget about his great unemployment numbers, which have been debunked and gotten bottomless Pinocchios and declared completely false. He created 1,600 million jobs. No, they bounce back from the COVID lockdowns led to that, and you're a lying Sacagawea. And that's no insult to Sacagawea. Reverend Al.
Those of us that's been on that debate stage, we do not
Those
need
of us that's
to
been
have any kind of drug pumping us up. When they put them Clegg lights on,
Clegg.
you don't need to be going buzz.
Right.
You need to be thinking thoughtful, because you don't know
Thinking
what's coming.
thoughtful.
You don't know the questions. You don't know what your opponent's going to do. Drugs will make you overreact. That's the last thing they would do. But it shows you how asinine they could be.
Nobody said anything of the. It's complete fabrication. The man is. I'm thinking words that I probably shouldn't use. Isn't he amazing? Just remarkable stuff. And Clegg lights and thinking thoughtful, and English is it his first language? Is it his only language? Because he's certainly not very good at it, is he? Just amazing.
When they put them Clegg lights on, you don't need to be going buzz.
Right.
You need to be thinking thoughtful.
Yeah, that's... And this is the government of the United States of America, and the leadership of the free world is being led around by the nose by these people. Most of them are dressed like women, too. I don't know what the Reverend Al does in his free time. Now let's go to Charlemagne, the misspelled God. You know, Charlemagne, he's a hero of the left, too. And he's a billionaire because he says ridiculous things. And it was Joe Biden talking to him, who says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, right? And it was Hillary Clinton talking to him, saying that, you know, what do you always carry with you? Which is an idiotic question, which the campaign obviously fed Charlemagne, the misspelled God. And Hillary Clinton said, hot sauce, hot sauce. And he said, oh, people are going to think you're pandering. And she said, is it working? Just these, I got to tell you, the race pimpery of the party of slavery, the Democrat Party, the party that gave us the KK. Here's Charlemagne, he spells the T-H-A, so he misspells the word the in his name.
Biden needing to be drug tested, and, you know, they want to check him for PEDs. If they got PEDs to give it to him. I'm all for the drugs. Drug him up. Like give him the same super serum they gave Steve Rogers to make him Captain America. Expose him to the same gamma radiation Bruce Banner got exposed to become the Incredible Hulk. I want him to join a long list of incredible athletes who were better when they were on PEDs. The Mark McGuire's, the Barry Bonds of the world. If they got something that can make him look more energetic on Thursday, that can make him look like he's not in cognitive decline, they need to give it to him.
Now, that's Charlemagne the misspelled God, and quite remarkable. President Trump has said Trump calls on Biden to take drug tests and says he'd take one too. President Trump put this out there. Sure, that's good stuff. Trump said, I watched him with Paul Ryan, and he destroyed Paul Ryan, talking about Biden's performance 2012. So I'm not underestimating him, he says. I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater. But he says, drug test for crooked Joe Biden, question mark. I would also immediately agree to one. So now Trump is agreeing to a drug test. Will Biden, now it's performance-enhancing drugs. Everything's got to be an abbreviation, right? So PEDs, that's not like, parental erectile dysfunction in the Joe Biden household or something like that. But drug tests for Joe Biden. And Charlemagne, the misspelled God, he says, oh, yeah, by all means, give him that Bruce Banner, whatever, super drug, turn him into Spider-Man, whatever, turn him into the Incredible Hulk. Give him all the drugs you want, performance-enhancing drugs. So getting mixed messages from his base.
They're about to have a debate in a couple of days. If Biden falls flat on his face, if he does flop so hard that it's even the media can't deny it, should they pull him?
Now, this is from the Young Turks and Sink Uyghur, who's an anti-American, angry, rabid, hate-filled communist. And he's talking, because it's a circle fest in a hot tub, to Charlemagne the misspelled God. And if Joe Biden does real bad, should the Democrats kick him off the ticket?
I would say yes.
Kick him off.
The reason I would say yes is because you know the base is going to show up. And, but it's about like those independents and those hypothetical swing voters, those people who, may be undecided. It's about them. Like those are the ones that I think are really going, change the tide of the election.
You're going to change the tie to de-election. And, yeah, the THA spelled THA. Because the next generation must be illiterate also. Otherwise, they might not all be Democrats. Illiteracy is key to the Democrats' long-term program. This is what they call progress. Sexual dementia, illiteracy, drug addiction, all the good stuff. Get a bunch of abortions, go to jail. The left is here. It is. So whose advice should Joe Biden take? Charlemagne, the misspelled God, or the Right Reverend Al Charlatan?
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
All right, the Democrat Party, Charlemagne, the misspelled God, and Al Charlatan, the fake reverend. All right, let's take a phone call. Let's go to, should Joe Biden do drugs for the debate? Charlemagne says yes, and Al Sharpton says no. I say yes, I think he should too. Let's go to Mike calling from Houston, Texas. Michael, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, America. How you doing?
Just great, Mike. What do you say?
Well, you know what? I say that, they're all talking about giving, POTUS some coke, right?
Sure.
Well, that's just not going to last. I can tell you from personal experience, they need to jack him full of methamphetamines. And you know what? The DEA has warehouses full of that crap, so they can give him all he wants. Because I'm going to say something, that yayo is for lightweights. If you want to go fast.
Yeah, the old yayo. You know what, the yayo, it doesn't last long enough, you're saying, Mike, from personal experience, and you think that the methamphetamine would be better for the occasion and for the person, Joe Biden and the debate.
Yep, that Adderall, anything that says amphetamine on it.
That is great. Yeah, I think you're probably, Coke can last long enough. That's why I was doing, like he was doing bumps, my sound effects. He was doing bumps while Trump was talking.